Rob, thank you very much. Spectacular day here in Pasadena. Temperatures in the low 80s as 12th ranked Oregon comes into town to take on the UCLA Bruins. Hi everybody, I'm Gus Johnson along with my partner Charles Davis, and welcome to Pasadena. And not too long ago, this had a chance to be one of the big games of the college football season, but UCLA and Oregon both losing last week. So needless to say, CD, this is a must-win situation.
If this were pro wrestling, this would be a loser-leave town match, because the loser of this game no longer in the discussion for the playoff four. So that means everything focuses on the great quarterbacks today. Marcus Mariota from Oregon, I think he'll get some help from Byron Marshall, who's been playing slot back. I think he'll get more carries as a running back today. And for UCLA, Brett Hundley will rely on his legs to make some plays against the expected pressure coming from Oregon's defense. Let's go ahead and do this thing.
All right, a good crowd on hand. Over 80,000 as the Bruins take the field. A huge Pac-12 matchup coming up. 12th ranked Oregon, 18th ranked UCLA. The opening kick coming up next, right here on Fox.
And this one is going to reverberate through college football for weeks to come.
Mississippi State has beaten the number 6 team in the country.
He's got it! Ole Miss has knocked off Alabama.
Knight.
Oh, picked off! TCU upsets number 4 Oklahoma.
The kick is away. It's end over end, and it is no good! Utah wins!
And what a week it was in college football. Welcome back to the Fox College Football Game of the Week, presented by Geico, as the UCLA Bruins play host to the Oregon Ducks. Now to join the third member of our team on the sideline. Here's Molly McGrath.
Thanks, Gus. Oregon's quarterback Marcus Mariota told me that it's his responsibility to shoulder the load of this offense when his offensive line is struggling. He said he'll do anything he can to make it easier on them. But the Ducks' leading receiver Devin Allen told me that Mariota shouldn't have to do that on his own. He acknowledged that his quarterback feels the pressure to make every play and carry this team, but said it's up to all of us to get this offense back on track. And good news for the Ducks, their starting left tackle Jake Fisher told me that his ankle's feeling great. He confirmed that he will play today, and he was warming up with the starters pregame. Gus?
All right, Molly, thank you very much, and what a day. You can't get better weather than Southern California this time of year. 81 degrees. It could get as high as 86 during this game. And Oregon to receive. UCLA won the toss and deferred. As you take a look at the series history, UCLA leads it all time. Oregon, though, they've won the last 5. Kaimi Fairbairn will send it away. Charles Nelson, the freshman from Daytona Beach, Florida. He wears DeAnthony Thomas's number 6, the Black Mamba, playing with the Kansas City Chiefs now. UCLA, Oregon. And we're underway from the Rose Bowl. And Nelson, he'll bring it out of the end zone. Wants to take a shot, and he is down at the 15-yard line. Hoffmeister with the tackle on special teams. 3 things you need to know when Oregon has the ball.
Quarterback Marcus Mariota has had a lot of pressure in his face lately. Let's see if they move him around, get him out of the pocket a little bit in order to try and make more plays. Second thing is they want to establish a running game in order to protect Mariota. If they run the football well, he doesn't get pressure in his face and hit as often. And for UCLA, nothing extra in the run game or the pass game. Yards after catch, yards after contact, put them down.
First down to 10 of the 15. Here's Freeman running on first down. Royce Freeman, freshman from Imperial, California. Kenny Clark, nose tackle, makes the tackle for UCLA. And here's Oregon. They want to play fast, as usual. A 2-yard gain, second down and 8 at the 17. Play action. Mariota with time. Now he'll tuck it. Decides to run it. Marcus Mariota has blazing speed. He runs a 4.4 40-yard dash.
In the pregame show, you mentioned that Mariota needs to be a little more selfish, to take care of the ball and maybe use the ball. You keep the ball himself more. He just did that on that play. It was open. He ran, first down.
Gain 12 yards. Freeman Little jitterbug. He'll dive forward. Looks like he's close to the first down as well. Jaleel Wadood grabs his ankle and brings him to the turf. 2nd and 1. Mariota sprints out of the pocket. Setting up. In trouble. And he'll just fire it to the sideline. Almost sacked. And
Got to be a flag.
flag on the play.
Got to be intentional grounding. He was
There
back
is
in
no
the
foul
pocket.
for intentional grounding. The quarterback went outside the pocket, came back in, and the ball went beyond the line of scrimmage.
So you get the benefit of if you break the tackle box initially, when you go back in, the rule is not back on, as we heard Michael Batlin, our official, tell us, our referee today.
Deion Hollins, the sophomore from Houston, Texas, with pressure. 3rd down and 1 at the 38 for Oregon. And they'll hand it off to Freeman. 1st down and even more. They love this kid, Royce Freeman. He's a bruiser, 5'11", 230. Anthony Jefferson with the tackle.
And how about the offensive line, which has been much maligned recently? You heard Molly McGrath at the top of the show say that Jake Fisher is back at left tackle. So far in this game, this line has opened up nice holes for Royce Freeman early.
Now Thomas Timer comes in. Mariota. And he fires that one up top, and it's caught by Dwayne Stanford, sophomore from Cincinnati, Ohio School. Ohio, Taft High School. That's 11-yard pickup.
How about his concentration off of a tip ball, staying with it and snatching it out of the air?
Opening drive for Oregon. It started at the 15-yard line. 1st down and 10 of the 31. Nelson in motion. He'll grab it. Trying to turn the corner, and he gets chopped down immediately. Miles Jack met his mom at the hotel last night, and she said her boy better be ready to hit somebody.
Well, he was ready on this play because this is Byron Marshall coming from the slot position. Toss it to him, which really goes as a forward pass. Well defense by UCLA.
Loss of 1, 2nd and 11. Underneath, this one is caught by Charles Nelson. They'll make that Devin Allen. And Allen will gain 5. 3rd down and 6 at the 27 for the Ducks. Now Mariota throwing on the run, and it's a 1st down. Marcus Mariota. This time he finds Pharaoh Brown, but a flag on the play.
And that came from the deep secondary, from the back judge, I believe.
Pass interference, offense, number 9. 15-yard penalty, Maine's 3rd down.
So that's either what offenses call a rub route, defenses call a pick. Let's take a look here. I believe this is Marshall here. As he moves inside, see how he runs right into the defender? You're supposed to try and kind of slide off of him and continue your route. He stayed there a little long, and they dinged him for it.
Mark Helfrich in his 2nd year, 40 years old, 15-3 record. Same record as Chip Kelly at this point in Chip's career, but a whole different feel around the Oregon program. 3rd and 21. Mariota. And it's incomplete, intended for Keenan Lowe, and he got drilled. Anthony Jefferson, who they moved to the quarterback spot, comes up and makes the hit.
Exactly what UCLA is looking for. Are there any yards after catch? No. In fact, they don't even let him complete it because of the strong hit by Anthony Jefferson.
So after moving the ball on their opening drive, Oregon unable to make the key plays to punch it in, and they'll have to punt it away on 4th down and 2. Ian Wheeler standing at his own 43-yard line. Ish Adams, one of the most dangerous return men in the Pac-12, is at his own 9. And Adams will clear, and this one goes out of bounds inside the 5. Terrific job by redshirt freshman Ian Wheeler. But coming up, Brett Hundley, the starting quarterback, ready to lead the Bruins on 0. Welcome back. 3 things you need to know when UCLA has the ball.
Brett Hundley must be protected, sacked 10 times against Utah, must use his legs to tamp down the pressure. They've got to throw it to the perimeter to some of these splendid wide receivers, Jordan Payton being the most trusted guy for Brett Hundley. And for Oregon, it's all about the ball. They're giving up huge chunks of yardage. Can they increase their takeaway ratio?
First down and 10 at the 3. They give it to Paul Perkins running left, and he has room to crawl forward and get to the 10-yard line. Eric Dargan, the safety, coming up and making the tackle.
The game for 1 down.
So Brett Hundley has been given the green light this week by Jim Moore to run it more. Since 2012, he has nearly 700 rushing yards on scrambles. Second down and 4 at the 9. Perkins again. And he'll push the pile forward and get to the 11.
If you're UCLA, you have to test Oregon's run defense early in the game and then continue to sustain it. Have some patience with your running game. Paul Perkins has been very good this season. The offensive line, the best work they did against Utah was in the run game. Stay with it and see if Oregon can defend it.
Third down and 2 at the 11. Perkins remains in the game at running back. Now it's Hundley deciding to run. He has a first down as he dodged forward to the 20.
It's not going to just be the scrambles. It's going to be quarterback run game design plays for Brett Hundley. One of the better runners on the UCLA team. Last year he led the team in passing and rushing.
Hundley is 47 yards away from breaking Gary Beeben's 47-year-old UCLA quarterback rushing record of 1,271 yards. First down and 10 of the 18. Perkins will turn the corner. Paul Perkins. Flag on the play. Tony Washington making the tackle. Gary Beeben.
Heisman Trophy winner. I mean, that record has stood the test of time, hasn't it?
47 years.
Personal foul, face mask, offense. Half the distance to the goal. Repeat first down.
Didn't give us a number. Caleb Beninock, the right tackle, pulled all the way around and is leading. Look, right here. And that's him leading the play for Perkins. That's Beninock coming from right tackle to left tackle. He's got a firm grasp on the mask of Tony Washington of Oregon. Thus the penalty. One of the issues for Beninock all year long has been penalties. And there's Ifo Ekpe-Olumu hurt early in the game.
All-America defensive back, all Pac-12, his sophomore and junior year. First team. First down and 19 at the 9. Here's Hundley, pulls it down. Hundley trying to get outside and finally tripped up as he crosses the 22. A 13-yard gain on first down and 19.
These two quarterbacks at the end of today should both be exhausted, not from getting hit in the pocket, but from being a big part of the running game for each squad.
Second down and 6 at the 22. Johnson in motion. Here's Hundley to throw underneath. And beautiful ball and an even better catch as Brett Hundley put that one right where he needed to as Eldridge Massington makes the reception to backup tight end.
I like your point about the catch because Massington used his body to keep the defender away from the football and make the catch. Looked like Chris Cisse was number 12, who was in the game for Ifo Ekpe-Olumu. Olumu back on the field.
Brett Hundley, the most accurate passer in FBS, completing 73%. First down at the 28. And they'll pitch it back. Hundley on the flea flicker up the sideline. And incomplete. Nicely done by Oregon as Jordan Payton was the intended receiver, but Eric Dargan got over there and broke it up.
And it seemed like to me the receivers, I'm not sure if they knew which one was breaking deep and which one was going short. Usually you kind of stalk and then you take off and go. Massington looked like do I block? What do I do? And ended up having two defenders on the play. See right there, Dargan making sure he didn't interfere and then got help over the top.
Second down and 10 at the 28. Hundley in the shotgun. He'll hand it off to Perkins. seconds. Gets over the 30-yard line before being brought down by Joe Walker.
Throughout this season, Don Pelham, the defensive coordinator of Oregon, has not done as much blitzing as maybe people anticipated and what they've done in the past. Big third down here. Will he bring pressure or will he drop into coverage?
Bruins need 7. Hundley with time. Steps up. Bottled up. And dives forward. Will be close, but may not have enough depending on the spot of the football.
If he got it, Gus, that's because of his big body and his effort at the end of the play. They've got him short of the first down, but he doesn't give up, and he keeps churning at the end of this play. Look at him continue to move forward. It's a matter of where they determine his body down.
And Hundley had to leave the game because he lost his helmet. But
well,
they didn't get enough for the first down, so the punt team comes on.
So if they were thinking about going for it, that made the decision for them with his helmet coming off. You go ahead and punt it away because you want him in the game.
Matt Mangle gets it away barely. This one will take a bounce and will be touched inside the 20-yard line. A 46-yard punt. He's one of the most dynamic players in all of college football. Marcus Mariota. And there is a flag on the play.
It's a highly emotional game today. Number of flags early so far.
After the play, personal foul, late hit, number 57 on the kicking team. 15 yards will be added to the end of the play. First down. Timeout on the field.
That's Carl Hulick called for the penalty. No score. Back to Pasadena right after this. Fox College Football is sponsored by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. All right, here are the keys to the game brought to you by GoDaddy. Get your small business online before the end of the quarter.
For the Oregon Ducks, they wanted to play much faster. That's prestissimo, which means very, very fast in terms of a tempo. And for UCLA, they want to get home on their pass rush. Only 7 sacks so far this year. They've got to find a way to get Marcus Mariota on the ground.
First down at the 32. Mariota on the run, incomplete, intended for Keenan Lowe as that one goes right through the senior's hands.
And in order for Oregon to play, and there's Keenan Lowe limping now, and he's one of their primary receivers. For them to play at that very, very fast tempo, prestissimo, they need to have success on first down. They didn't on that one.
Second down and 10. Mariota moving the football, and Stanford looks like he picks up a first down.
Interesting option for Marcus Mariota, because normally you option it to a trailing back. In this case, it's a receiver hanging near the line of scrimmage, parallel to him. And he threw it to him overhand like a pass. You know who used that play successfully against them? Arizona last week.
Stanford with 4 catches for 74 yards against Arizona. Missed the 2013 season with a knee injury. First down at the 44. Freeman. Nothing. Miles Jack gobbles him up quickly. And I saw yesterday at the team hotel where Miles Jack got all of his talent and his good looks. His mom is beautiful, and she said, my son better be ready to go out there and play physical tomorrow. I was like, wow.
Got her smarts too, right?
That's right, Microsoft.
An executive there.
Second down and 11 at the 43. Marcus Mariota over the middle, broken up by Miles Jack.
Well, one of the things about Miles Jack is you never worry about work ethic with him. He felt like he really struggled covering receivers. So you know what he did? All off season, worked on pass coverage drills with his friends and other college players, and in practice, he covers wide receivers.
Third down and 11 at the 43. Play fake. Mariota off his back foot. And that one ricochets and is caught at the line of scrimmage. Looks like it's Aronis Grasu, the center, who plucks it out of the air.
So Grasu is the center. He's going to snap the ball and lo and behold still be involved in the play after blocking. As the ball ricochets back, Grasu goes and high points it. One thing that's happening now, every position is doing more ball drills because the possession is so key in college football now.
Ian Wheeler punting inside his own 30. Ish Adams standing at the 15. And down at the 22. A 34-yard punt. So far, it's been both defenses selling out early goings here at the Rose Bowl.
Okay, let's check out the Nissan Heisman Watch. Here's some Heisman hopefuls you may not be as familiar with. Shane Carton, the quarterback at East Carolina. You're getting familiar with Dak Prescott. Many people have him #1. And Nick Marshall, the splendid quarterback from Auburn. Big game today with Mississippi State. And here are some guys that you do know about. Marcus Mariota, you're watching him now. Everett Golson from Notre Dame has them undefeated. And Bryce Petty and Baylor. If he can solve TCU's defense today, he can get some real mention.
First down and 10, play fake. Huntley setting up deep. He looks downfield. And incomplete. Ball intended for Jordan Payton. He lost his helmet, but covering is Troy Hill.
Excellent coverage. Hill hanging on the upfield shoulder and does not make his move too early where he would get caught for interference. Goes up, and look how he's playing through and to the arms and hands of the intended receiver.
Second and 10. Perkins. He runs right into DeForest Buckner.
Oregon will need a big game from number 44 today. DeForest Buckner, defensive end. His running mate on the opposite side, Eric Armstead, did not dress today after injuring an ankle in the first half against Arizona. He tried to go in warm-ups, couldn't make it. So they need Buckner to play big and beyond.
Third and 6 at the 27. Hundley wants to run it with room. Hundley looking for the first down, has it as he gets chopped down by Eric Dargan. But a 10-yard gain on 3rd and 6.
Would you say that he is heeding the words of his coach in pregame? Jim Mora told him this week, you work on your mechanics all week, Brett, but come Saturday, just be you. If you got a chance to go and take the pressure off, you go. And that's exactly what he's doing early in this game.
4 carries, 35 yards for Hundley already. First down. And Perkins runs into a pile. Last week against Utah, Brett Hundley was 16 for 21, threw for 269 yards, 2 touchdowns and an interception, but he was minus 24 yards rushing, mostly as a result of being sacked 10 times.
And the college game, that'll put a real dent in your rushing statistics, won't it?
2nd and 9. Hundley under pressure, and Hundley stripped of the football. It's loose. And Oregon almost had it. Tony Washington knocked it out of Hundley's hands. And the Ducks have the football.
From Hundley's blind side, from your right, there's the pop by Washington, knocking the ball free. Now the scramble begins. There's an excellent opportunity there. Not able to be recovered at the first one, but after that, Oregon got right on it. That was Tui Talia, number 55, who had the first shot at it.
So the Ducks will start at the UCLA 13. Marcus Mariota has thrown a touchdown pass in 31 consecutive games. And the option. Mariota hits the corner. Speed. Touchdown, Oregon. 13 yards.
They've gotten more creative in their running game. They bring Byron Marshall back inside from the slot. They fake it to him. Now they go full option. And Mariota just sees the opportunity, tight ropes on the sideline, and puts the ball on the pylon for the initial score of the game.
And Oregon, this is what they like to do on extra points. Taylor Ali, a backup quarterback, is the holder. And now Matt Wogan comes in to attempt the extra point. And they'll run it. Ali, 2 points.
That is Oregon Duck football as they try and get back to their identity.
Fox College Football is sponsored by AT&T, mobilizing your world. And by Nissan, innovation that excites. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, tires chosen by experts for superior performance. Goodyear, more driven. And Marcus Mariota, sometimes it looks like he's wearing some Goodyear tires or some Pirellis because he's got that Maserati speed. Maserati Marcus.
So smooth, isn't he? I mean, he's flying by you, but you don't really, it's hard to tell because of how smooth he is. But offense coordinator Scott Frost being more creative today and making sure the ball stays in the hands of his top playmaker, Marcus Mariota.
Matt Wogan kicking it away to Ish Adams. And Adams brings it out of the end zone. And it'll be stopped at the 15. Let's go to Greg Wolf in the studio for a Lowe's Never Stop Improving game break.
Well, here's one of Charles' Heisman hopefuls. He just mentioned Dak Prescott finds Jerunya Wilson, 34-yard touchdown. 2 Auburn turnovers have led to 2 Mississippi State touchdowns. Ring those cowbells. Number 3 leads number 2, 14-0 first quarter. Gus, Charles, back to you.
Tell you what, Prescott wins today. Mississippi State wins today. He's firmly number 1 on everyone's Heisman chart.
And you are a voter. First down and 10 of the 15. Perkins still on the move. And the percolator gets to the 30. 14-yard gain. Ifo Ekweolumu with the tackle.
About the movement of the UCLA offensive line, though, creating the space for Perkins to run through.
First down to the 29. Huntley bobbling the snap. He'll give it to Perkins. And Paul Perkins again. Another first down on a broken play. Reggie Daniels with the stop.
Now, if you're the Oregon defense, you have no real explanation for why this should be able to happen. Timing's all off, yet the hole still is there. Should not happen.
Now Jordan James comes in the backfield for UCLA.
UCLA changed personnel. That's why they stood over the ball, allowed Oregon to match up on defense and run in personnel themselves.
And it's Huntley keeping it, gets outside, flag thrown as Brett Hundley jogs out of bounds at the 35. It would be a 19-yard gain, but let's see what the flag is.
Boy, if this stands, how about the vision of Brett Hundley? Seeing the hole on the backside and making one cut and getting there.
During the run, illegal block in the back, number 82 offense. 10-yard penalty, Maine's first down.
It's Eldridge Massington, freshman wide receiver. The vision of Hundley to come back to the opposite side, but right here is where you will get the penalty. Massington trying to pull off but got a small shove in the back on number 13, Troy Hill.
3 penalties already against the Bruins for 34 yards, so that'll wipe away a 19-yard gain and make it first down and 11 at the 42. Huntley will give it to James. And Jordan James falling down at the 49. Hardrick with the tackle.
So far in this game, UCLA's offensive line, which took so much criticism last week because they gave up 10 sacks, they're giving them a chance to have a settling effect on themselves, letting them run the football, fire out and hit people. And so far, they're really doing a nice job controlling the line of scrimmage in the run game.
Nate Starks in at running back now for the Bruins. Huntley dancing in the pocket. And very good coverage this time by Oregon. No gain on the play.
Now that Huntley has broken out of the pocket a few times with good runs, I want to see if Oregon's going to change up a little by Don Pelham, the defensive coordinator, and maybe try and leave someone in the middle of the field to shadow or spy on Huntley and try and take those runs away.
Pelham in his first year as the defensive coordinator for Oregon. 3rd down and 5 at the 47. Huntley over the middle. And first down, Jordan Payton. Looks like his forward progress should pick up the first down for him.
It's a good read by Brett Huntley. Able to go where Jordan Payton went, where the linebacker for Oregon vacated and came on a blitz towards Huntley. So where the hole was left, Payton got in there and Huntley found him.
Jordan Payton, the team's leading receiver with 32 catches on the year now for close to 500 yards. 3 touchdowns as well. First down to the 46. Huntley, a run, a reverse to Devin Fuller, and that didn't fool anybody. Nicely done. Sam Camp stayed home, the junior from Mesa, Arizona.
It's a beautiful play by Camp because he's replacing Eric Armstead. So Camp will be over here as a defensive end. Not fooled by all the action away. Sees it and takes away the angle for Devin Fuller. In a straight out race, Fuller wins big. But Camp cuts off the angle. And there's Eric Armstead sitting out today's game.
2nd and 12. Now Huntley out of the backfield to Starks. And Starks takes a hard hit at the 40. Stays on his feet. Chris Cisse trying to pound him out there.
It's pretty nice on both sides. How about Starks giving us the old-fashioned stiff arm on the first one? And then Cisse, as you noted, came up and checked him out there with the hit.
7-yard gain, 3rd down and 5 at the 41. Huntley with a shotgun. Sideline. Nice throw. Terrific catch. Massington with a first down and a 9-yard gain.
That was a well-run route by Eldridge Massington. Took the defender, gave him the impression he was going deeper into the secondary, came back to the line of scrimmage on the cut, and the ball was right there for him.
And that should take us to the end of the first quarter. Oregon scoring first. Marcus Mariota with a 13-yard run, but UCLA trying to answer now as they get deeper into Duck territory. And welcome back to the Fox College Football Game of the Week presented by Geico. UCLA Bruins hosting the Oregon Ducks right now. Oregon with an 8-0 lead, but UCLA with the football at the 32. 10th play of the drive. That started at the 15. 16 runs on this drive for UCLA. 6 passes.
Trick play coming.
Oh man, you knew it, partner. Far side, and it's Huntley who'll just walk out of bounds.
They tried to hide Hundley. He acted like he was confused and ran to the sideline like, what am I going to do? Watch Hundley. He's going to go over there. What are we doing? What's going on? What's going on? But you've got a tailback still in the game. Moves right, hoping the flow goes that way. You hide Hundley, and that's Devin Fuller, your former quarterback.
This time Miles Jack comes in to run the football. He's their starting linebacker. UCLA has scored on its last 17 red zone trips, dating back to 2013, the 5th longest streak in FBS. First down and 10. Jack again, power running. And they'll get about 7.5, maybe 8.
And I think they'll leave him in and see if they come right back at them. And look at the splits now.
Jack, and first down.
See UCLA widening the splits with their linemen. They're trying to create natural running lanes and hoping Oregon will try to come inside. You wall that defender off, and you get a huge hole for a back to run through.
12 touchdowns in the red zone this season.
And the top defender for Oregon, Ifo Ekpeolumu, on the sideline now. Let's see if they try and go at his replacement, which is likely to be Chris Cisse, number 12 at the top of your screen.
First down and goal of the 9. Hundley looking for daylight, and Hundley tackled by Reggie Daniels and Tony Washington around the 6.
UCLA has changed tempo a little bit, giving Oregon a few things to look at, things to think about. The trick play with Hundley, Miles Jack with a couple of plays where they widened all the linemen and opened up running lanes. Then they come back conventional, and Hundley right at them inside.
Second down and goal. They mark it at the 7. Fuller, the motion man. Hundley to throw it underneath, caught, and this is Devin Lucien. Managed to hold on to the football in traffic. Gains 3 yards. So third down and goal.
That was well played by Troy Hill, number 13, right on the spot.
Nate Starks in the backfield, 16th play of the drive. Hundley wide open, and Fuller, the ball thrown short. If they could have kept it up, he had a surefire touchdown.
Missed the layup, Gus. Brett Hundley had a layup. And watch, motion here, and the receiver out there. He's wide open. If he puts it on him, that's it. Not all Hundley's fault, as we see. Tony Washington tips it just a little bit, but had enough force to still get there, but not where he wanted it.
So Kaimi Fairbairn has made 20 straight field goals from 35 yards and in. This one from 20 yards away. And it's good. Bruins on the board now, 8-3. But here comes Maserati. Marcus Mariota.
Last week, Tony Washington, the outside linebacker for Oregon, got a key penalty late against Arizona that cost his team a celebratory penalty, and now he's trying to make up for it. The backside hit on Brett Hundley led to a touchdown by Marcus Mariota, and then the tip ball here kept this pass from being perfectly thrown and an easy touchdown for UCLA. Tony Washington told his team he was sorry, apologized to them, but you tell them even more by how you play.
Coach Helfrich talking about that unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on Tony. There's probably nothing worthwhile in life, and definitely zero in football, that's done individually. Nothing. We celebrate with our teammates in everything we do. So Oregon ready to get it once again. Nelson brings it out of the end zone. Nelson with a lane, and he crosses the 25 and gets up to the 28. Now tonight on Fox is game 1 of the NLCS between the Giants and Cardinals, with coverage beginning right after our game at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Plus, tune in to Fox Sports 1 for a unique, never-before-seen presentation of the game, including analysis, on-field reports, and live demos. It's hardcore baseball for hardcore fans.
We're supposed to have parity in Major League Baseball. Those two teams feel like this is an annual event now, isn't it? Look at this. Last 8 postseason series, San Francisco's won. 4th straight National League Championship Series appearance by the St. Louis Cardinals. And San Francisco leads their all-time postseason meetings 2-1.
First down at the 28 for Oregon. And they hand it off to Thomas Tyner. Eric Hendricks making the tackle, their leader in tackles this season.
It'll be the 3rd straight year if he finishes that way, which we have no reason to doubt that he will.
Mariota in trouble. Mariota breaks contain and goes down at the 36, right in front of Kendricks again. That brings up 3rd down and around 2.
The option game has worked well for Oregon early with Mariota keeping the ball in his hands.
Mariota. Nobody home, incomplete, but a flag, a late flag throw.
Was that ball tipped that Mariota threw? Did not come off of his hand very well. And I don't think UCLA is going to like this late flag. I suspect it goes against them for a hit after the play was over.
Prior to the pass, holding defense number 1. 10-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
That's Ish Adams.
I thought it might have been a hit after the ball was gone, but they got Ish Adams, who's playing the nickel position in the slot. That should be Ish right here, covering against Byron Marshall. And the ball's in the air, and he's got his hands on Marshall. That's the call.
So the Ducks will pick up a first down. Ball at the 46. And they'll hand it off to Tyner, slipping around the right side. And Tyner close to midfield as Kendricks and Young combine on the tackle.
I think these two offensive lines came into the game, Gus. We've used the word maligned often, both of them. A lot of criticism. I think early in the game, both of them have done a very nice job running the football against their opponent.
Andrew Bruin on the field is Anthony Jefferson, the redshirt senior from Los Angeles.
And they'll afford to lose him. He's so versatile. You pointed out earlier the big hit he had today, starting on the corner again where he began his career at UCLA before moving to safety. We'll see him today if he's able to come back into the game at corner, at safety.
Jefferson getting up, walking off on his own. That's a great sign.
Had a lot of injury issues early in his career, broken foot, a bad back, but the last 2 seasons he's been very consistent.
Second down and 7 to the 49. Mariota handing it off to Tyner. Kenny Young plugging up the hole. And a flag again.
Didn't we say this is essentially an elimination game? We heard Joel Klatt and Coach Wanstead talk about it in our pregame show. Loser of this game no longer in consideration for the playoff 4. Intensity ratcheted up super high for this one. Ooh, that's Eddie Vanderdoes, number 47, coming up swinging there at the end of the play. He will be fortunate if he stays in this game.
Dead ball, personal foul, 47 defense, contacting a player unnecessarily late, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And he is fortunate because he threw what appeared to be a punch at the end of the play. Right there, and you see it, and he gives a short one into Jake Fisher, number 75. Gets a personal foul. Again, fortunate that he is staying on the field and playing the rest of the afternoon.
First down at the 32 for Oregon. And Mariota. This time they search it out. He can't get by Miles Jack.
The agility of that young man, Miles Jack. He's dancing with one of the more elusive runners in the country, Marcus Mariota. stays right there with him and makes the play. You see the value of the offseason training, working against wide receivers and shifty players in terms of coverage.
Second down and 8. Tyner picks up the first down. That offensive line, although it is a makeshift line this season, is doing a nice job firing off the ball in the run game.
And Thomas Tyner's coming along. They've wanted more from him. He's giving it to them today.
First down to the 21. Nelson. And that one thrown a bit high. He can't hold on, and he'll jump on it. Make that Byron Marshall.
Yeah, I like your observation there, partner. You don't see Marcus Mariota inaccurate very often. He was on that play. When he made Byron Marshall have to jump instead of keeping him on his feet and running, a big play could have ensued.
Second down and 10. Mariota airing it out. And incomplete. Allen, the intended receiver. The track star, Devin Allen, redshirt freshman from Phoenix. That brings up third down and long. And a timeout called by the Bruins. 3rd and 10 coming up for Mark Helfrich and the Oregon Ducks. Fox College Football is sponsored by Jaguar. See the new model year lineup at your local Jaguar retailer.
How about that? The head basketball coach of UCLA, Steve Alford. Of course, the man himself, Phil Knight from Nike. Jonathan Ogden, Pro Football Hall of Famer, one of the all-time great players. Antonio Pierce. And there he is, Phil Dunphy. Ty Burrell, an Oregon native, rooting on his Ducks.
3rd down and 10 at the 21. Mariota sets up a screen. Tyner plucks it off the air. First down. Touchdown, Ducks. 21 yards. "32 straight games in which he's thrown a touchdown for Marcus Mariota."
All flow goes to the left. The screen will come back right. Watch Tyner slip through. Mariota attracts the attention, of course, of Kenny Clark, 97, and Isako Saba'inaya, number 44, dumps it over. Tyner scores.
Matt Wogan for the extra point. No trickery this time. 9:24 to play, second quarter. Oregon taking a 15-3 lead.
Coming up on the AT&T halftime, we'll head to Start Vegas for the 2-versus-3 meeting between Auburn and Mississippi State. TCU and Baylor in a top 10 meeting of unbeatens. And after losing to Oregon earlier, Michigan State tries to remain in the national title conversation.
All right, Rob, thank you very much. 15-3 our score. It's getting a little hot on that UCLA sideline. And we will show you that momentarily.
I think it's a well-called game on offense thus far by Scott Frost, the coordinator of Oregon.
This one deep into the end zone for a touchback. Check this out.
So that's Jeff Ulbrich to your left, the defensive coordinator with the beard. Jim Moore, of course, the head coach. Both of them defensive guys. Ulbrich played 11 years in the NFL as a linebacker. Look at the passion here. Going at each other, discussing what's gone wrong so far. And Ulbrich appears to say, you call it. Take the play sheet and you call it. And look at Jim Moore now becoming the conciliator. Calming his defensive coordinator down. Talking him down. Jim Moore, his growth as a head coach, not firing back. Passions flying between two intense guys.
First down and 10 to the 25. Huntley hit as he throws and incomplete.
I think it worked, though, because you got two passionate guys going at it, and they both want the same thing. And Ulbrich is back at his post as the defensive coordinator. Jim Mora knows we're not taking that personally. They're going to fight and scratch and claw. They both want to win. Now they're going to try and figure it out. Let's see if they can solve the Oregon defense now with their offense.
Second down and 10 to the 25. Huntley gives that football to Perkins. He'll break it back and find a little bit of room at the 30. You're saying fighting and scratching and clawing. I don't think I'd want to fight, scratch, and claw with Coach Ulbrich.
No, that's 11 years as an inside linebacker in the league. 9 years with the 49ers.
That's what you call a problem.
In that case, I might listen to him.
Third down and 4 at the 31. Huntley. And he runs. Huntley with the first down as he slides at the 41.
If the middle continues to stay open, Brett Hundley will dive into that gap all game long. Don Pellum, the defense coordinator of Oregon, has got to think about possibly leaving someone there, at least as a deterrent from those sorties of Brett Hundley.
First down, Perkins. And Perkins will get inside Oregon territory. Ball Perkins with a 12-yard gain. As Christian French and Tyree Robinson combined on the tackle. There's Coach Pellum.
Now he's trying to figure out, okay, what do we do with the run game? That was a zone blocking scheme. All they did was widen the defensive line. Perkins put his foot in the ground and turned upfield for a big gain.
Starks this time. Nice move around the corner. Oh, look at him. Power drive the Oregon defender and get to the 30.
You're supposed to set the edge as an outside linebacker, and right there, that was missed. I believe it was Christian French, 96, who's supposed to step up, and then look. Starks, the freshman, trucks the All-American corner, Ifo Ekpreolomu, number 14 for Oregon. He had a similar situation last week against Arizona where he was run over, and now I believe he lost his helmet and has to go out of the game for a play.
19-yard gain for Nate Starks.
Ekpreolomu is one of the better tackling corners in the country.
First down and 10 at the Oregon 30. Lucien, the motion man. They look that way. Kevin Lucien. Tony Washington with the tackle. But it's a gain of 7, and now the Bruins figuring out how to move it.
And you notice the ball's out of Brett Hundley's hands quickly on some of these pass plays. Again, trying to tamp down the pressure they've been facing in recent weeks.
Second and 3. Starks. Wrestled down by DeForest Buckner.
So we get another third down. If Hundley decides to throw it, you know that he will flush quickly if the option isn't there to throw it right away. See if Oregon comes up with any type of a counter.
Third down and 2 at the 22. Starks. Oh, and he's chopped up. Joe Walker. He had a great game against Michigan State. Terrific play there. A loss of 1 on third down and 2.
Middle of your screen, Walker comes right through a gap. No one there to block him, and he makes the play in the hole.
So Kaimi Fairbairn, who missed his only official attempt, a 50-yarder on the final play of the game after running into a kicker penalty, had nullified his missed 55-yarder. This one from 41 yards away. No good. Fox College Football is sponsored by Goodyear. Tires chosen by experts for superior performance. Goodyear, more driven. By New York Life Insurance Company. And by Diet Dew, the only diet with dew in it. The Rose Bowl, UCLA's home since 1982 and home of the Rose Bowl since 1923 as we take a look at the KFC stat comparison.
Brett Hundley, a little more accurate throwing the ball. Both of them, their rush numbers are starting to increase because they're willing to take off. Mariota's team has gotten into the end zone twice, though.
6:12 to play in the first half. Oregon with the ball and the lead, 15-3. Mariota will hand it off to Freeman on first down. And Eric Kendricks comes up and makes a play defensively for the Bruins.
The offensive line for Oregon has done such a nice job today that I think has cut down the number of carries that Byron Marshall may have been ticketed for. He's a guy who can make people miss a little better than the other backs, but these holes are there today.
Second down and 8. Freeman again. First down. Freeman still running. And he'll go down at midfield. Jaleel Adu with the tackle, but it's a 23-yard gain.
Jake Fisher's return at left tackle seems to have had a real settling effect on the offensive line of Oregon.
First down at the 48. They go far side. And this time, it's Dwayne Stanford. There's big Jake Fisher, 6'6", 300-pounder.
Remember, he was supposed to be the starting right tackle, but Lance Johnstone blew out his knee in ACL the first day of spring practice, flipped over to the left side, and then Fisher got hurt against Wyoming. This is his first game back.
2nd and 5. And Freeman.
See, Gus, I was worried about the O-line of Oregon, and I thought Marshall could make people miss a little bit better. Thus, he would get more carries. But the way they're blocking, holes are there for Thomas Tyner and for Royce Freeman.
3rd down and 3. Oregon 2 for 4 on 3rd down conversions at the 45. Quick strike, first down as Pharaoh Brown, 6'6", 250, makes the catch, but a flag.
And that was at the end of the play. Was there something a little extra there over the sideline between Brown and the defender?
After the play is over, personal foul number 85, offense. 15-yard penalty. The player unnecessarily contacted the opponent after the play.
Play's over. And
The
then
player results in a first down.
You're kidding. You're kidding me.
Does that not look like both of them? But I think what they got Pharaoh Brown for was the ball shoved into the face of Miles Jack. And that's what he got ticketed for.
Oh, please. First down and 10 at the 44. And Mariota decides to run it. Look at that burst. He'll get down to the UCLA 44. 11-yard pickup and a first down. Kenny Young, Miles Jack with the tackle.
And it's such a smooth acceleration, isn't it? But today, that unselfish nature of Marcus Mariota, not on display. He's put that away in order to help his team by carrying the football more.
5 carries, 43 yards. Here's Tyner. Making tackles, leans forward, close to the first down. Odigizua with the stop for UCLA.
And somewhere on the Oregon sideline, Gary Campbell, the longtime assistant coach who coaches running backs for Oregon, as we look at the rush yardage, even so far, was so excited because Thomas Tyner did what you described, Gus, broke tackles. He's been begging for that from the youngster, the sophomore. Break tackles, make extra yards on your own. Don't just get what's blocked. Create your own yardage. Tyner did on that play.
Tyner, 14 carries, 77 yards, and a touchdown against UCLA last year. We'll run it and pick up the first down.
This might be a good time for a shot from Oregon. Striking towards the end zone with Mariota throwing it.
Keep your eye on number 5, Devin Allen. He knows how to get open. He's the receiver at the bottom of your screen. The first receiver. Mariota looks the other way, wide open. Touchdown, Oregon. Pharaoh Brown, 31 yards.
So here's Brown, the lead guy here. Oftentimes you think wide receiver screen, he's the blocker. He shows the block and then goes downfield. Nice okey-doke against Miles Jack, and Mariota puts it right on him for another touchdown. There's Jeff Ulbrich, the defensive coordinator, looking on.
And some movement on the left side. Looks like Cameron Hunt.
Ball starts, 78, offense, 5-yard penalty, remains a try.
Mark Helfrich, as we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, his record 15-3, same record as Chip Kelly during Chip's tenure at that particular time, but there's just a different feel, especially after that loss last week at home to Arizona.
Chip Kelly set the bar so high and missed it. And it's hard for Mark Helfrich.
But his team playing well in the first half on top of UCLA. Pharaoh Brown with the 31-yard touchdown reception to give this Oregon team even more breathing room as they go on a 9-play, 77-yard drive, scoring in 3:11.
How about that cooling unit that Pharaoh Brown has over his head?
I was wondering if that was just a new and improved do-rag.
I think it's a do-rag with cooling tendencies.
Ish Adams. And Adams hopping over the 15-yard line. All right, let's go into the studio for a game break.
All right, thanks. We have a top 10 Big 12 battle in Waco, Texas. B.J. Catalon, 9-yard touchdown run, his second touchdown of the game. Number 9 TCU leads number 5 Baylor, 21-10, second quarter. Gus, Charles, back to you.
Charles, we had TCU last week, and what a big win against Oklahoma.
The addition of an offense that can keep up with their defense has changed the whole complexion of the TCU program.
First down and 10 of the 16 for UCLA. Perkins. And he'll pick up the first down as he crosses the 30.
The difference in this game so far, UCLA's moved the ball well, unable to ring the bell in scoring opportunities. Flip it over, that has not been the case for Oregon today. They've capitalized.
From the 31, UCLA with 2 timeouts remaining. Hundley drops it off near side to Perkins. He's wrapped up by Dargan immediately. And that'll be a loss of a yard. Dargan may have hurt himself making the play.
He read it well, came right up and wrapped up Perkins. See how he gets both legs, doesn't let him skip out of the tackle. And then the pain hit.
Eric Dargan, Oregon's active leader in interceptions with 9. He has a team high 3 this season. Second team all Pac-12 a year ago.
He has a special teams player. Really matured since from last season to this season.
Second down and 11 for UCLA. 2:07 to go here in the second quarter. And Hundley keeps it. Brett Hundley, first down. Brett Hundley still running. great effort. A 25-yard gain as Reggie Daniels finally brought him down.
And he ran through at least 4 tackles to make that play. And Oregon going full scale shifting on defense, changing up personnel.
A sense of urgency now from the Bruins. Down 21-3. 2 timeouts left. First down and 10 at the 45. Here come the Ducks with the blitz. Hundley runs it and goes nowhere. He'll lose yardage on this play, a loss of 2.
He may have lost yardage on that one, but Brett Hundley is playing a game today. Well defended. Henry Mondu, number 92, didn't allow him to escape. But we're watching 2 thoroughbreds at the quarterback position today.
11 carries, 52 yards for Hundley. But they need points. Hundley pumping over the middle and caught at the 40-yard line. And that's Thomas Duarte. And the Bruins will call a timeout. That's their second.
They found Duarte over the middle, and that's where he works. A big body receiver, 6'3", 223 pounds. Last week, 0 catches against Utah. A priority to start finding him today. Right in the middle of that pile there, that's Noel Mazzoni, the offensive coordinator, talking with Brett Hundley. And to Brett Hundley's left, that's Jerry Neuheisel, the hero of the Texas game when he rescued UCLA. Mazzoni and Hundley going over the sequence of plays coming up. And with Kaimi Fairbairn's missed field goal, Gus, from what, 41 yards? He's now 8 of 19 in his career from 40 yards or more. I think that's got to change what Jim Mora thinks on offense for the rest of the game. That now it's not automatic that we kick a field goal in that range. It becomes more 4-down territory, I believe.
Third down and 4 at the 39. This one caught. Fuller will turn it up in front of Ekpre Olamu. A 12-yard pickup.
Good job by the offensive line, giving Hundley time to go through progressions and reads. The tackles, Bunch 78, Beninock 74, struggled against Utah. Playing much better today.
First down at the Oregon 27. Hundley again under pressure. Fires and just throws this one out of bounds.
One of the more impressive incompletions you'll see, because Brett Hundley should have been wrapped up in the backfield. How about that little almost ballet step to his left? Watch him make the defender miss. Look at that. He's there, he's gone. Looked like Mondu, number 92, had the chance, came up with air.
Second and 10 at the 27. So take a look at Hundley's numbers. Hundley to throw. Looking deep. Lucien was open. And that one just sailing high.
It's another missed opportunity. The first one was a tip ball by Tony Washington that cost him a touchdown. This one, as you noted, was the fastball that stayed up in the zone and didn't drop into the bucket for Lucien.
So third down and 10 of the 27. 27 seconds remaining in the half. UCLA with one timeout left. Underneath, wide open receiver. They have a first down, and they get out of bounds. And this time, it's Massington. And he'll stop the clock with 19 seconds remaining.
Good awareness by the freshman Massington to understand he had to get to the sideline. Gives him more time to operate. Not just picking, getting close to the first down, but getting out of bounds to stop the clock.
4th down and 1, however. And the Bruins going for it.
The prior play is under further review. The ruling on the field is the runner ran out of bounds, short of the line to gain.
You see the yellow line, that's the unofficial first down line. He's right there, it's unofficial, but if that's what it is, you see where the ball is, that should be a first down, I believe. And that's what the discussion's going to be for our replay officials, Bill Richardson and Leo Ruth.
Had a chance to visit with Mr. Richardson before the game. He came into our booth and said hello. And the replay officials are always gentlemen, asking us if there's anything that we can, any questions that we may have for them.
I always give him the same answer. I don't know about you. When I talk to Bill Richardson privately myself, he asks the same question. You know what I always say? I'm going to be asking you the question.
After review, the runner got to the 16.5-yard line that resulted in a first down. 1st and 10, 16.5-yard line. Game clock will remain dead.
So you talked, Charles, about how Jim Moore's decisions based on Kaimi Fairbairn missing that 41-yarder may change.
Yeah, I think things have to change for him in any normal circumstance. In this case, they've got to be ready to run him out there to try a field goal, because you can't come away with nothing here just because of time. 19 seconds, they've got to be ready to go. 1 timeout left. I think he takes a shot at the end zone right here, though, in order to not have to kick the field goal.
First down at the Oregon 16. Hundley underneath, almost intercepted. Wow. Reggie Daniels had a beat on that ball.
And he will really feel poorly later if points go on the board for UCLA, because that was a chance to finish off the drive and keep them totally off the scoreboard. Read it well, read the eyes of Hundley, broke on the ball, and knocked it away from Fuller.
2nd down and 10 of the 16. Brett Hundley looking in the end zone. Jordan Payton had it, but couldn't get a foot in bounds.
Chris Cisse on the coverage, number 12, replacing the All-American Ekpe Olumu. And Payton, such strong hands, comes down with the football. Works out with the Jugs unit with tennis balls firing at him in order to get better hands.
3rd down and 10. 16-yard line for UCLA, closing moments of the first half. Brett Hundley steps out of the pocket with a lane. Hundley powering forward, touchdown UCLA. When in doubt, give it to the best player and let him make a play.
This thing breaks so clear for Brett Hundley. Look at this, right there. Nothing but space. And with his vision and power, he takes full advantage. The missed interception by Daniels haunts Oregon.
Extra point is good. So UCLA with some momentum heading into the locker room at halftime. They finally hit pay dirt. Brett Hundley with 1,293 career rushing yards. That is now a school record as he passed Gary Beeman's 47-year-old quarterback rushing record.
One of the all-time great players in college football, Gary Beeman, a Heisman Trophy winner here. I often wonder, those guys who played in a different era, different style of offense, you think they sit at home occasionally, Gus, and get a little jealous watching these spreads and guys throw it around like they do?
I think they probably do.
At least Gary has a Heisman to console it.
This may be the... So they will take a knee and for a touchback, so we're ready for the final play of the first half. Marcus Mariota, terrific first half, 9 of 15, 82 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's rushed 5 times for 43 yards and a touchdown. Brett Hundley, 11 of 18, 71 yards passing, and 12 carries for 68 yards and a touchdown rushing. Three seconds left. And they'll stay on the ground and take us to the end of the first half. 21-10, our score at halftime. Oregon leading on the road. Now we send you to the AT&T Fox College Football halftime. Here's Rob Stone.
Gus, Charles, thank you. We welcome you to the AT&T Fox College Football halftime, mobilizing your world. The flashpoint in this one came in the second quarter after a 9-play, 72-yard Oregon touchdown drive. Jim Mora and his defensive coordinator, Jeff Ulbrich, had an animated, heated sideline conversation. Coach, things get heated down there. We understand that. How is this going to play out in the locker room now?
Well, it's not. It's over with. I promise you. I've been through this on both sides of it. It's over with. They're on to the next play. He just said, you know what, Jim? Here, you make the call. Okay, I've had coordinators do it to me. The next play, you forget about it, and you move on.
I thought right here, Coach, see Jim Mora calm him down right there. That was the moment. He grabbed him on the face. Remember, this is a guy that was coached by Mora previously in the NFL, and he said, hey, we're on the same team, and all the emotions came down from there, and guess what happened? UCLA comes back. They get that huge answer from Brett Hundley on the scoring drive to end the half, and they get the ball to start the second half. I believe it's a non-issue going into the locker room.
I know it is. Trust me.
I'll say this, though. When somebody touches my face, that usually does not calm me down.
They've got
right? That's
the relationship's deep.
A little juice.
I tell you what, I like how all the players and the coaches, everybody's laying it on the line for this game. This is a great football game.
Great close to it. It's going to make things awfully interesting in that second half in the Rose Bowl. 2 massive top 10 showdowns today, and we have the highlights next. Unbeaten TCU at number 5 Baylor. The scoreline from this one is going to surprise you. And we're going to head to the land of the cowbell, Starkville, Mississippi, as the 3rd-ranked Bulldogs host number 2 Auburn.
And welcome back to the Fox College Football Game of the Week, presented by Geico. As the Oregon Ducks, ranked 12th in the nation, lead UCLA 21-10 as we head to the third quarter. Gus Johnson along with Charles Davis, and I thought Oregon, especially on offense, played extremely well in that first half, and UCLA managed to salvage their first half with that Brett Hundley touchdown run at the end.
Yeah, I thought 2 offensive lines had taken a lot of criticism, really stepped their games up in the first half. Oregon able to ring the bell in the end zone much more frequently. That's how it got started. Tony Washington sacking Brett Hundley from the backside. A recovered fumble led to Marcus Mariota in the first touchdown of the game. Defense leading to offense. Then the Ducks extend their advantage. Marcus Mariota finding Farrell Brown downfield for a touchdown. But the Bruins right before the half, Brett Hundley, who I thought was terrific in the first half, they claw back with a late touchdown to bring us to 21-10.
And our Molly McGrath moments ago had a chance to catch up with Coach Mora.
Coach, Brett Hundley ran for that touchdown going into the half. How big was that play headed into the locker room?
That was big. You know, it reminds me a little bit of Nebraska last year. You know, we struggled in the first half, and then we were able to get a touchdown and get a little momentum. We get the ball here, so we got to make something happen. We're moving the ball well on offense. We've just got to finish with points. Obviously, that turnover hurt us, but hey, we all knew that it was going to be a battle, and it is, and it's fun. It's 2 really good teams going after it.
You and your defensive coordinator, Jeff Ulbrich, exchanged some heated words in the first half. What happened there?
Jeff and I go back to when he was 21 years old. So sometimes he's like my little son, and nothing. I mean, it's just natural emotion of a game, you know, and we both want to win so badly, and we love each other, and you can see by the smiles, you know, right afterwards. I mean, that's just the way it is. Like I said, there's nobody on this staff that I know better than Jeff, so I love the guy. He's passionate, man. He's awesome.
All right, thanks, Coach.
All right.
All right, so UCLA will have the football to start the second half. Ish Adams back deep. Matt Wogan kicking it away for Oregon. And Adams elects to bring it out of the end zone. And he is wrestled down at the 15.
And now let's take a look at the first half stats brought to you by Geico. UCLA, big advantage in offensive plays, running the football, passing yardage down for both teams. Third down conversion, UCLA 8 of 11. So you're sitting here wondering, what is the discrepancy? UCLA unable to capitalize on getting the ball in the end zone despite terrific drives in the first half. This drive here, key to start the second half.
First down and 10 of the 14-yard line for the Bruins. Ball Perkins in the backfield with Hundley. And they will run a sweep. Devin Fuller. And he'll lose yardage on the play. How about that? Eric Dargan grabbed his ankle. Joe Walker cleaned him up from up top.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that Joe Walker comes off the field. But he's playing behind Derek Malone, number 22, a multi-year starter. So they have terrific depth at the linebacker position.
Joe Walker, Jr. from Palos Verdes, California. Second down and 11. Hundley steps up, thinking about running. And Hundley falls down short of the 20-yard line. Rodney Hardrick there to tackle him.
Yeah, I think if you're Oregon, one of the adjustments at halftime, someone has to stay home in the middle of the field for Brett Hundley taking off. Show it. Make sure you let him see that someone's there. At least be a deterrent. He may beat you running it. But boy, don't just leave the wide open, leave the middle of the field wide open where he can get there.
Third down and 6. Hundley to throw it to the sideline, and it's caught on a first down. Hundley with so much poise in the pocket. This time it's Devin Fuller making the grab. And UCLA will keep the chains moving. That's a gain of 10 on the play.
And now Oregon, you know, coming into the game, Oregon trying to keep Mariota upright. Now they want to get Hundley on the ground. Big mission in the second half.
First down, Hundley on the play action fake, and this one caught by Duarte. And you talked about Duarte at the end of the first half and how he is a big target that they need to get the ball to a little bit more.
That way they were able to do it. They did it right near the end of the first half. Here early in the second half, they've done it. And we heard Coach Wanstead talk in the studio at halftime. They've got to get some bigger chunk plays in the passing game, does UCLA. Let's see if they're able to push it downfield a little bit more here in the second half.
Thomas Duarte gains 9, second and 1. Here's a handoff to Perkins. Nothing. Walker, as well as DeForest Buckner, in on the tackle, and that'll be a loss of a yard. Third down and 2 at the 36. Play action. And Hundley looking for the first down. I don't know. It'll be close.
I think he's short by enough that they're going to have to punt the football away.
And Oregon will take that as a huge win to start the second half.
That was good pursuit by the Oregon defense, and they left no creases for Brett Hundley to work through and pick up the first down running.
Matt Mangle punting from the 21. Charles Nelson hovering around his own 20. And the ball fair caught at the 20-yard line. A 43-yard punt, but here comes the Maserati. Marcus Mariota and the Oregon Ducks on offense after this. Fox College Football is sponsored by Allstate. Proud supporters of college football. Are you in good hands? By the Lincoln Motor Company and the first ever MKC. And by Domino's. Oh, yes, we did. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Tires chosen by experts for superior performance. Goodyear, more driven. Gus Johnson, Charles Davis, Molly McGrath. From the legendary Rose Bowl here in Pasadena, California. Very important Pac-12 matchup between two top 25 teams. Oregon at 12, UCLA at 18. First and 10 at the 20 for Oregon. Mariota over the middle. And caught by Farrell Brown. He'll lean forward and pick up 9. Eric Kendricks with the tackle.
Nice change up in the play calling from Scott Frost. A first down pass. The way Oregon's been running it today. UCLA loaded up for the run.
Second down and 1. And it's Freeman. He'll pick up the first down. Miles Jack with the tackle. And you got to give this offensive line for Oregon a lot of credit. Mariota has not been sacked today after 12 times the last 2 weeks. And Oregon defensively has 3 sacks. First down. Hand it off to Freeman. Good crawl forward to get to the 40. Royce Freeman, freshman from Imperial, California. Terrific player. Had 85 yards on 19 carries last week against Arizona. And he threw his first touchdown pass, a 26-yarder to Mariota. They'll run it again. Look at it. Man, oh man. What a strong young football player. 5'11", 229. That's a 12-yard pickup.
Now they made a movie about the great runner at Oregon, Steve Prefontaine. They actually made 2 of them. One of them was called No Limits, I believe, or Without Limits.
I like the Jared Leto one.
Yeah, I can't remember which one was which. There's 2 of them, but Freeman, he has no limits to his ability.
First down to the 47, far side, and it's Farrell Brown again. Now, Farrell Brown is listed as 6'6". Is he a wide receiver, Charles, or a tight end?
He's a tight end because he's about 250 pounds. I don't think he runs as well as you would want on the outside, but he runs well enough to be a flex tight end and run some individual routes.
Here's Tyner now. And first down, Oregon. Opening drive of the second half for the Ducks.
Yeah, he'd be what they call a move tight end, where you can move him around, flex him out a little bit, run routes in the seams. But what he also gives you is the ability to be an inline blocker right on the line of scrimmage and dominate. He had 2 key blocks in the Michigan State game to help spring Royce Freeman and help them win the game.
First and 10 to the 36. Here's the sweep, and it's Marshall. So right now, Coach Frost, the offensive coordinator for Oregon, really keeping this UCLA defense off balance. Flag on the play. Excuse me, no flag on the play.
He's definitely doing that, Gus. The play calling is varied, hitting them in different spots, changing things up.
Now they'll go to the other side. It's Marshall. First down.
And you remember when the West Coast offense came into vogue? And those little passes, remember what they started calling them? They're just long handoffs. It's like part of the running game. That's what we just saw there to Byron Marshall.
John Taylor, Jerry Rice.
Exactly.
Coach
Brent
Bill
Jones.
Walsh. Yes, my good friend Brent Jones. Freeman back in at tailback. He's rushed for 83 yards. Play fake, Mariota. A strike to Brown, incomplete. Farrell Brown wanted a flag. Miles Jack covering it.
I thought the flag might have been inside. I think one of the receivers from Oregon got held up a little bit. That's why Mariota didn't go to him and went to the outside trying to hit Brown. I thought that was good coverage downfield by Miles Jack. That would have been a very difficult play to complete.
10th play of the drive that started at the Oregon 20. Second down and 10 at the 23. Mariota lost it, gets it back. What a burst of speed, 23-yard touchdown for Marcus Mariota.
And Oregon Ducks basketball coach Dana Altman may want him for his ability to dribble and pick it up and go. And you know what that moment is right there, don't you, Gus? That highlight is a Heisman-type highlight because it'll get replayed all over the place. And he's playing to that level today.
Extra point up and good. Mariota, 2 rushing touchdowns, 2 passing touchdowns, and the Ducks are firing on all accounts. Fox College Football is sponsored by Dr. Pepper. Here's to a one-of-a-kind season. Dr. Pepper, always one of a kind. The Duck getting a good workout here in Pasadena. Oregon up 28-10. And, you know, often you run into, not often, rather, you will run into a player that not only is incredibly talented, but you can just see that he has the core values that, you know, you'd want your daughter to date him. And that's Marcus Mariota.
Yeah, it fits him to a T. I mean, that's just absolutely perfect. Kid's taking only 2 classes this semester for graduation. Everybody thinks he's got an easy schedule. He averaged 22 hours per semester during his time at Oregon. During football season.
All right, let's go to Greg Wolf in the studio for a Lowe's Never Stop Improving game break.
All right, guys, number 2, 3, and 4 all lost last week. Number 5 in trouble this week. TCU's B.J. Catalon, his 3rd touchdown of the day, having a career day. This one, 94-yard return. Number 9, TCU leads number 5, Baylor, 31-27 at the half. Gus, Charles, back to you.
Somewhere Gary Patterson in Waco is thinking to himself, I'm winning shootouts now? Gary likes to win them 10-7.
On first down, this is Perkins. Perkins still on his feet as he gets to the 30-yard line. Second and 4. Hundley. Sideline. Picked off. Ifo. Ekpre. Olamu. The All-American. And he's down at the UCLA 10.
I believe it's Logan Sweet to the left of your screen. Olamu, number 14 in white. Logan Sweet is the receiver. He stumbles in his break, but Olamu has read it the whole way. He was doing what we call cluing into the quarterback, seeing the receiver with one eye, the quarterback with the other. He sees the drop, he breaks on the football, and Oregon now goes for the big dagger. They want to put themselves in a real prime position. I say the ball stays in Mariota's hands, and he makes the play.
First down and goal at the 10. 2 turnovers for UCLA, no turnovers for Oregon. And he'll hand it off to Marshall.
Like Tyrell Crosby, 73, offensive lineman, lost his helmet. He'll have to come out, but they've been rotating linemen all game. So that won't be a problem for them. A lot of intensity, helmets being knocked off, a lot of pushing at the end of the play.
Second down and goal. Ball at the 4. Mariota out of the shotgun. And he'll hand it off. Touchdown, Ducks. Royce Freeman.
We've got a long way to go, partner. But you know what the Ducks are saying right now? Reports of our demise have been greatly exaggerated.
I like it.
They are playing at a very high level. Still a long way to go, plenty of time with UCLA's high-powered offense. But Oregon loves the way they've come out in the second half.
And the extra point for Matt Logan is good. Ifo Ekpre-Olamu with the interception. Red Hunter Company in trouble now because the Ducks are really playing some ball.
All right, this is our Fox 4 King of College Football, brought to you by Burger King. Number 4, Mississippi State. Number 3, Baylor, struggling with TCU right now. Number 2, Florida State, that was at Syracuse earlier today. And number 1, Auburn, down at the moment. at Mississippi State.
(35-10). Oregon really opening things up in the third quarter as Wogan kicks it deep and out of bounds once again, or out of the end zone.
And we go back to our Fox 4. We look at the top 4 going into this week. And then we've got the teams that are just outside of the Fox 4. Ole Miss was at 5, Notre Dame, TCU at 7, Alabama at 8. And what the Fox 4 is a conglomeration of 13 members of the Fox broadcasting team. Different roles, different places, picking their 4 each week plus one team outside of it to come up with the Fox 4, our conglomerate, our putting it all together, matching it of what we think are the top 4 teams in the country going into each week.
First down to 10 at the 25. Hundley underneath, and this ball caught by Massington. And you said something interesting during the break, Charles. You said that if Oregon manages to win this game and win out, that they have a chance to be in that top 4 by the end of the season.
I'm going to say right now that it won't just be a chance. I think if they win out, win the Pac-12 championship, the game, they will be in the 4.
Second down to 2 at the 33. And it's Perkins. Oregon was picked by the media to win the Pac-12 North and eventually beat UCLA in the Pac-12 title game. That was the prediction.
And no matter what happens today, we could very well see these two playing in that Pac-12 championship game at Levi Stadium in Santa Clara.
First down and 10 at the 37. Brett Hundley looking, throws to Fuller, and he'll be lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage as Eric Dargan, who's been terrific this afternoon, comes up with the tackle.
I go back to the halftime when Coach Wanstead in our studio said, hey, UCLA's got to get the ball downfield more. They got to push it. Well, they're not able to because Oregon's defense is taking that type of a ball away from them and forcing them to throw it short and then rallying up and making tackles.
Second and 10. Hundley with the keeper. Brett Hundley over the 40 up to the 43. Dargan on the play once again. What's this Oregon defense done under Coach Pelham to limit the opportunities for UCLA, especially when they get close to the goal line?
What they've done is they've taken, the running game's been good outside of the 20. They've stacked that up, and then they've pressed. The coverage has been tight downfield so that Brett Hundley doesn't have a chance to get it downfield because the pass rush has gotten there today.
Third down and 5 at the 42. Hundley again. Under pressure. Brett Hundley is... They may call that a sack. If not, it's a gain of a ½ yard, but more importantly, for UCLA, they have to punt the ball again.
You know, our Molly McGrath told us on a break that when she talked to Mark Helfrich, the coach of Oregon, at halftime, he said their #1 mission in the second half was to get Brett Hundley on the ground. I think he's got to be very happy by what he's seen so far from his defense.
Matt Mengel with his third punt. Charles Nelson back deep. This one will go out of bounds around the 25. 5:27 to play, third quarter. All Oregon Ducks with a huge 35-10 lead.
Hey, the Oregon offensive line played well today. This is what was supposed to have happened to start the season, and you see the changes started in week 1. Look at week 2. Now week 3, another big change. Week 4, true freshman playing left tackle. Week 5, Arizona is the same lineup as week 4. And then we get here to week 6. After the loss, Jake Fisher gets back, and you see what's happened. 5 different starting combos, tied for the most in the Pac-12. 8 different starters, 4 freshmen have seen action. Matt Pearson, a walk-on, has been a starter at right tackle.
Mariota decides to run, following his block, tries to slide through the hole, and across the 30 up to the 33. As Jaleel Wadoud comes up with the tackle.
And we go back to, you mentioned, Gus, how well this line has played. Look at the yards per rush, almost 8 yards a carry today. Offensive line helping out.
Second down and 1, Tyner. First down, Kendricks with the hit.
But I think you cited the most significant stat even earlier. You mentioned that Marcus Mariota had been sacked how many times? 0 for the game. 12 times he had been put down in the previous 2 games.
First down and 10 at the 36. And they will get it to Marshall, and Marshall, not a lot of room. Flag on the play.
Personal foul, face mask, 98 on the defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That's McKinley and Molly on the sideline. Molly McGrath, I know you have some thoughts about the offensive line.
Yeah, Gus, I talked to Mark Helfrich at the half, and he told me that left tackle Jake Fisher's return is a huge help to his O-line psychologically. He said that his offense as a whole has been much better today, and they're really, really glad to have Fisher back. So you see that on the field already.
He's a senior, Traverse City, Michigan. First and 10. Mariota. Nice throw. Allen out of bounds at the 20 for Devin Allen.
You know, against Arizona, their defense, Oregon's defense, was burned twice on wheel routes with busted coverages. That was essentially a wheel route by Devin Allen, coming from in motion and swinging out for a big play.
A 30-yard gain, first and 10 at the UCLA 19. Tyner out of bounds at the 10.
Gus, you've been calling him Maserati Marcus today, Mariota. Marcus Maserati Mariota. Smooth functioning, high performance, high end, and he's so smooth he goes from 0 to 100 and you don't even feel it.
Here's a handoff, Tyner. He has incredible acceleration, Charles, and it doesn't look like he's one of those athletes. It doesn't look like he's exerting a lot of energy.
Yeah, there's no herky-jerky to it. It's so smooth. You ever been in one of those cars with someone, and all of a sudden you look up and you're like, we're doing 120, and it doesn't feel it. That's Marcus Mariota's running style.
First and goal at the 7. Mariota, incomplete. That ball intended for Dwayne Stanford. Looks like there may have been some confusion between quarterback and receiver.
But they had that on about 4 occasions last week against Arizona where receivers ran different routes than when Mariota was throwing. And they're continuing to work on those communication gaps. That'll be another one that they'll address in film after this game.
Second and goal at the 7. Royce Freeman now in a tailback.
Not necessarily a passing down the way Oregon is running today.
Freeman has been great between the tackles. Mariota sprints out of the pocket, throws on the move. Almost got a cheerleader. Got to be careful with that.
Yeah, that one almost ended up in the stands. Could have been a souvenir.
Brings up third down and goal at the 7. Freeman lowers his shoulder, gets out of bounds inside the 5. And if this is classic Oregon football, they may go for it right
Yeah, I don't see any reason why they wouldn't. Up 35-10 right now. Defense playing well. I'd be shocked if they ran a field goal kicker out there.
Fourth down and goal at the 2. Timeout called by the Bruins. 3:05 to go, third quarter. 35-10 Oregon. Mark Helfrich giving his offense some last-minute instructions as they get ready to go out on a fourth down and goal at the 2-yard line. And I heard you say option.
Well, if you see Oregon motion Byron Marshall, number 9, back into the backfield, I would think option at that point.
Here's Mariota rolling out, throws, and incomplete on 4th and 2. So the Ducks will turn it over on downs. Devin Allen, the intended receiver.
No points, didn't get what they wanted, but they burned a lot of clock, and UCLA has to go the super long way to try and get points. There's Jeff Ulbrich, the defense coordinator, happy with his defense, not giving up any points there. Mark Helfrich, I don't think, is sweating that they didn't score. The way his defense is played in the second half, he's willing to turn it over to them, especially with this field position.
So the Bruins will start from their own 2. And they'll keep it on the ground. It's Paul Perkins. He crosses the line of scrimmage and gets knocked backwards. And last week, different story for Oregon, losing to Arizona 31-24 in Eugene. Nick Wilson, a true freshman, scored 3 touchdowns. Arizona opening up the season 5-0 for the first time since 1998. 2nd and 9. And it's Perkins. First down. Perkins accelerating and across the 30 and finally taken down to the 34. Eric Dargan with the tackle after a 31-yard gain.
Left side of the line. Look at the job that they do. That's Kenny Lacy, 76. Malcolm Bunch, 78 at left tackle. Brendel, 54. Creating a nice gap for Perkins to run through.
Paul Perkins last year against Oregon, 22 carries, 93 yards. 15 carries, 117 today. Run it again, and this time Joe Walker says no. I like this kid. Every time we see him, he makes some plays.
Yeah, that's so funny because I was right there with you. We see Joe Walker, and Joe Walker with 9 tackles against Michigan State when we saw him earlier this year. And he's not the starter ordinarily. He started that game ahead of Derek Malone.
2nd and 10 at the 33. Smelled it out and made the play. And we've called his name a bunch today.
Yeah, watch Washington. 91 shows up quickly. And how about the agility, the discipline? He sees the fake. He's headed towards the running back, able to change direction and dance with Brett Hundley and put him on the ground.
3rd down and 11 at the 32. Brett Hundley didn't like what he saw at the line of scrimmage and will call a timeout. 1:07 to play, 3rd quarter, 35-10, Oregon. With 1:07 to go in the 3rd quarter, UCLA now with only 1 timeout remaining for the 2nd half.
Makes things difficult when you're having to create a big rally. Let's see again if Oregon comes at him with pressure. But do they leave someone in the middle of the field to account for Brett Hundley taking off? 3rd
down and 11. Hundley in the shotgun. Here's Hundley over the middle. And incomplete.
And where's the flag?
No flag right now. Devin Fuller, the intended receiver, and Reggie Daniels may have grabbed his arm.
I think that he did. You know, just by first blush, certainly looked like he did before the ball got to the receiver.
Fans not appreciative of the no call as Matt Mangle comes in to punt it away from the 16. Reggie Nelson, Charles Nelson, excuse me, muffs it. And the Ducks will hold on.
He's fortunate, isn't he? He's had trouble today. You remember the first one he had to return where he called fair catch and he had to dive for it late to make the catch? This one, he's too far away from the football and the ball dies on him at the end. He can't get there, but his teammates picked him up, trailing back on the play.
Nelson, a freshman. Let's take a look at the numbers for Marcus Mariota. Listen. 100 yards rushing. He's got 75 rushing yards. Earl Brown, big day too. 1st and 10 at the 31. Mariota, good strike. Marshall with a lane, cuts it back, still moving, spinning all the way down to the 39-yard line of UCLA. 30-yard gain. Hollins and Goodman combining on the tackle.
You see exactly why he's moved out to the slot position as a receiver, but you also saw the running back skills that he exhibited. 1,038 yards and 14 touchdowns last year, 133 yards and 3 touchdowns against UCLA.
And a handoff to Freeman. Freeman stopped from behind. Looks like Vanderdoes, who almost got chucked from this game for throwing a punch, makes the stop.
I mean, he was right in front of an official too. I still have to admit, I'm more than mildly surprised that when that play happened, that it didn't happen, that he didn't get tossed.
And that'll take us to the end of the 3rd quarter with the score: Oregon 35, the Bruins 10. Welcome back to Pasadena, California, the Rose Bowl, where the Oregon Ducks, ranked 12th in the nation, lead the 18th ranked UCLA Bruins 35-10. And here is a screen. Farrell Brown with a blocker, still moving, and finally tripped up inside the 10 by Anthony Jefferson.
Remember the screen to Tyner in the first half that went for the touchdown? This is essentially the same play, except they use Farrell Brown this time. Flow one direction, throw back the other, the offensive line creating a barrier on the backside to spring the guy free.
A gain of 31 yards. Oregon stays on the ground with Royce Freeman. And he'll get inside the UCLA 5.
Then they come back essentially same play. Let the big battering ram go at it.
Yes, they do. Touchdown. Freeman now with a career high 101 yards rushing.
This is vision here because where he wants to go is jammed up right there. So he just sees the opening to the right and lets his eyes carry his feet into the end zone.
And this is the first time Oregon has produced a 100-yard rusher in a game this season. Extra point good. Tough day for the Bruins because the Ducks have just been incredible. Fox College Football is sponsored by GoDaddy. Get a website and get more business. It's go time. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV. Welcome back to the Fox College Football Game of the Week presented by Geico. And I don't think, Charles, anyone would have thought that the result would have been this. 42-10 Oregon, and we still have over 14 minutes remaining in the ball game.
Yeah, 2 wounded teams coming into this. We thought we were going to have a very close, hard-fought game. We've gotten the hard-fought part, but Oregon has really stretched it out. For the 4th year in a row, believe it or not, they scored 40 or more points against UCLA.
Matt Wogan sending it away. And the Bruins will bring it out. This is Radu. And he's chopped up as he crosses the 10, and there is a flag on the play. Tyree Robinson with the tackle on special teams.
during the return, holding number 12 on the return team. Half the distance to go, first down.
You see it right there on Charles Nelson. Ooh. I think if you're going to hold, that's the way to do it. Jayon Brown, a backup linebacker, 2 fistfuls of jersey.
First down to 10 at the 7. Brett Hundley. And the Bruins run it with Perkins. He gets to the 15, now the 20, and a first down. Reggie Daniels making the stop. So what's the philosophy of your ball club if you're coaching UCLA right now?
Well, right now they needed to get out of the shadow of their goal line, and they did that on the run. Ball's got to go in the air now. Brett Hundley trying to find receivers downfield. Oregon just wants to keep everything in front of them.
Swing it out to Perkins. And he's wrestled out of bounds at the 23 by Prevost. To Rodney Prevost.
He had a nice encounter in the offseason. Prevost did. He watched Money Mayweather train. Saw him at a mall when Mayweather was on a shopping spree, waited for him, and he and a few teammates were invited to go watch him train the next day and got some knowledge from the champ.
2nd and 8. And the handoff to Perkins. And Perkins, another big gain as he gets over the 40. That's a pickup of 18.
He's had a nice day running the ball. I think UCLA's offensive line, we said it in the first half, their day running the ball has been good. The problem now is Oregon will give them a lot of those as long as they're not turning into big strike touchdowns.
First down, Perkins again. And Perkins, another first down as he gets to the Oregon 41. 17.
Now, if you're Don Pelham, defensive coordinator of Oregon, you're telling guys, okay, we're okay, but it's the same play in the same gap. That would upset me if I'm the defensive coordinator. That whole back-to-back plays was massive.
Ball Perkins, 19 carries, a career high, 167 yards. Hundley wants to throw it, and incomplete. Intended for Massington. That one off his hands.
I thought he had a chance to turn one loose to Tyler Scott in the seam. But Tyler Scott's only had 2 catches all year. Watch Scott running downfield. If Hundley turns it loose, he's got a play. But I'm not sure that he's looking at him for a guy who's only caught 2 balls this year.
They stay on the ground. Nate Starks this time. And the way UCLA is running the ball, Charles, is this a sign in a way that they've kind of like thrown up the white flag?
I don't think so. I think that right now they're going off of reading, counting the box, how many people are there if you're Oregon. The box is pretty light right now because they're going to play pass defense, and you go ahead and run the ball. They're getting big chunks, so they don't want to shy away from it because there's still a lot of time on the clock.
3rd down and 7. Here's Brett Hundley, steps up in the pocket. Buying time. Hundley makes a first man miss and finally dropped. And the tackle by Eric Dargan. So that makes it 4th down and 5 at the 36. And it looks like Coach Mora will go for it. 11:40 to play. Here's Hundley. And this ball caught, nicely done by Massington, and that's a first down for the Bruins. An 11-yard gain on 4th down and 5.
Massington 6'1", listed at 210. Ekpre Olumu 5'10", 195. He bodied him away from the football, similar to what you would do as a basketball player. Just set your, just set a box out and caught the football.
First down at the Oregon 25-yard line. And it's Brett Hundley running. And he'll get out of bounds at the 20. Brett Hundley, a junior from Chandler, Arizona. A lot of talented football players come from Chandler, Arizona.
They tend to put out some talent, don't they?
Yes, they do.
Hundley's dad was a letterman at the University of Arizona. I believe as a running back.
2nd and 4. Hundley pulls it down. Can't break free, and he goes down at the line of scrimmage. This time it's DeForest Buckner holding on.
Do they get credit for a sack there? Or is that just a tackle for a loss? That's their 5th sack of the game.
5 sacks for the Ducks. And that offensive line, that makeshift offensive line led by Jake Fisher, hadn't given up one the entire day for Oregon. 3rd and 5. Perkins goes down. Perkins cuts it back and goes down at the 4.
I mean, the way that they are able to create the gaps in the offensive line and get the running back to the 2nd level so quickly, you can't help but take those plays if you're Noel Mazzoni, the offense coordinator of UCLA. Huge chunks being broken off by Perkins.
182 yards rushing for Perkins. Hundley and fires, touchdown, Jordan Payton.
Are they going to go for 2 here? That's a huge gap to worry about the 2 points here, isn't it? But I understand what they're doing. They're trying to close it as much as possible. Try and get as many points as they can and gobble them up.
The offense stays on the field. Hundley with Paul Perkins in the backfield. Hundley in the corner, incomplete, flag on the play. Ball intended for Devin Lucien. And the coverage by Troy Hill.
Looks like they'll get another opportunity for the 2-point play.
Pass interference, number 2 on the defense, not playing the ball. Half the distance to the goal, retry.
It's Tyree Robinson.
Guys done their best running. Perkins just trotted off the field for UCLA. Miles Jack has come into the game at the running back spot, and they've gone heavy with Vander Does and Kenny Clark from the defensive side.
Jack gets low and gets in. So a successful 2-point conversion for UCLA. 9:46 to go, 42-18, Oregon. And coming up after our game, it's a rematch of the 2012 National League Championship Series as Buster Posey and the San Francisco Giants take on Matt Holliday and the St. Louis Cardinals. NLCS Game 1 is up next.
Postseason baseball has been terrific. Can't wait to see it continue. And now the expected onside kick headed Oregon's way.
Amy Fairbairn. Here's your kicker. And he'll drive it deep. Nelson. And he gets to the 15. 9:41 to go. Oregon up big. Back to Pasadena right after this. 9:41 to play in the fourth. Oregon with an impressive showing on the road, leading it 42-18. And the Ducks have the football at the home 15-yard line. Tyner. And Thomas Tyner burrowing forward, stopped by Jahan Goodman.
You know, last week, UCLA gave up 242 yards on the ground to Utah. 156 to Devontae Booker. In the last drive of the game, when they knew Utah was running it, they had a 9-play, 63-yard, all running plays drive to set the game-winning field goal. Before that snap, Oregon 232 yards running it today. Back-to-back weeks successfully running it against UCLA's defense.
Second down and 6. Ducks stay on the ground with Tyner. And Eric Kendricks hauls him in. 1-yard gain brings up third down and 5. What's the difference between this Oregon team this week and the one we saw last Thursday?
I really think that this team, getting Fisher back in the offensive line and successfully running the football, which has been an issue for Oregon for most of this year. Everybody thinks of them as a spread team, flash and dash. They are a run-first team and have been during their successful run.
Third down and 5. And it's Tyner. And he will not have enough for the first down. And so on fourth down, Oregon will send it away.
UCLA, I believe, just used their last timeout.
Yes, they did. So Jim Mora will have to go back to the drawing board. Schedule still difficult for UCLA as we take a look at our Domino's stat tracker. Marcus Mariota, 210 passing yards, 75 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns, passing and rushing. Royce Freeman running for over 100 yards, first 100-yard rushing game by a back for Oregon this season. And there's Paul Perkins, who had a monster game, closing in on 200 yards rushing. Ish Adams back deep. Wheeler sending it away. And it will be down at the 32-yard line. 7:58 to go. Back after this. Fox College Football is sponsored by Chevrolet. Find new roads. 42-18. 12th ranked Oregon leading UCLA. Bruins with the football at their own 33. As Brett Hundley remains on the field. Don Pelham's Oregon defense, their coordinator, has really done a fine job of slowing down this Bruin O. First down. Here's Hundley to throw it. Firing it deep. And incomplete. Intended for Massington. And he was covered by Ekpreolamu, who has an interception in this game.
Left of your screen, 82 in blue, 14 in white. That's why the people on the next level are really excited about number 14. Complete corner, cover, tackle, you name it, he can do it.
Hundley swings it out, and this time it's Johnson. And Johnson will get a couple of yards. Mossy Johnson, a freshman from Los Angeles.
And for UCLA, the thing that's worked best for them here in the second half, they just don't have time to keep doing. That's running the football.
307 yards rushing for UCLA, 124 passing yards. Brett Hundley skipping, wants to get out of bounds and does. And stops the clock, but it'll bring up 4th down as Troy Hill knocked him out of play. 4th down and 4. And the Bruins going for it. Here's Brett Hundley. Fires it to Devin Lucien. 1st down, Bruins. As he's tackled at the 48 by Reggie Daniels.
Remember talking with Jim Mora this week, and one of the things he liked best about his team is he said that they're resilient and you just can't discourage them. And they've continued to fight throughout this game despite the score. And they're going to be very resilient if this game continues the way that it's gone.
1st down. And here's the run with Perkins. Danny Mattingly, redshirt freshman from Spokane, Washington, with the tackle.
He hasn't played in the last 4 games, but they really like him. They're excited about him. Talk about Mattingly, number 46. The quote I got, he's a throwback style linebacker, 6'5", 250 pounds, kind of that old 4-3 middle linebacker in an era of 3-4 spread guys.
2nd down and 5. Hundley pumping. Sideline. Ball caught by Johnson again. Still running. And Johnson down at the Oregon 15.
They continue to battle, don't they?
Yes, they do.
And Oregon's had a boffo showing on defense today. But there's still plenty for them to clean up as they go forward as well. Assignments, missed tackles in the open field, giving up extra chunks of yardage.
27-yard gain. Hundley steps up in the pocket. And Hundley out of bounds. Your thoughts on the day for Brett Hundley?
I think he's done a lot of things very well. I think he accepted the challenge of helping his team with his legs when he's needed to. He's been, again, an accurate thrower. He had an interception with that Crayola move, but all in all, when it's time to put the ball on people, he does that. He just has not had enough help in ringing the bell inside the red zone with his teammates.
2nd down and 9. And Hundley almost sacked. Gets it out wide to Peyton.
How many times has he done something like that today where he's created something when there appeared to be nothing? It appeared the play was over for Brett Hundley. And again, he slid out of what appeared to be a sure sack and made a play downfield.
Hundley, 22 of 33, 161 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. And it starts. Looks like a touchdown. And it is. A 9-yard touchdown for Nate Starks. Bruins continue to battle.
Good determined running by Starks as he goes. Yeah, he's breaking the plane with his body before the knees are coming down. Without a doubt, a touchdown, and they'll go for 2 again.
Perkins with Hundley in the backfield. Here's Hundley in the end zone. And knocked away. A Crayola move. Defensively intended for Eldridge Massington. 42-24, our score. Welcome back, 42-24. Gus Johnson, Charles Davis, Molly McGrath with you from the Rose Bowl here in Pasadena. 3rd quarter turned out to be the quarter for Oregon.
And UCLA had the ball to start the 2nd half, could not get anything going, and from that point forward, Oregon took control of the game. 14-0 in the 3rd quarter for Oregon, and now the onside kick coming.
Fairbairn delivers, and the Bruins have it. Recovered by UCLA. Ekpreolamu had hands on the ball but couldn't bring it in. Kenny Young with the recovery.
Show the fake. Fairbairn gets the hopper. And Ekpreolamu has his hands, has his mitts on, as you noted. And then essentially dropped it right into the arms of Kenny Young. Once Olamu made the play on the ball before it got to 10 yards, it's free now. UCLA has the football.
With 4:21 to go, no timeouts for the Bruins, down 42-24.
See, it didn't go 10, but Ekpreolamu made a play on the football. So once he touched it, now it's fair game.
Please set the game clock to 4 minutes and 19 seconds.
Hear that reaction from the crowd? You know why? The clock's at 4:21.
A little home cooking.
So a whole 2 seconds. But the official time is always kept on the field by the referee in conjunction with the scoreboard operator.
From the 45. Brett Hundley drops it off to the far side to Jordan Payton. And he gets out of bounds with 4:12 to go.
If you're Oregon and you let them hit any shots over 10 to 15 yards, you're not doing the right thing on defense. You play top down, everything in front, and come forward and make plays.
Second down and 4. Hundley underneath, and a hold by Payton, and he gets helicoptered after a 12-yard gain. Prevost with the tackle.
Like Troy Hill, number 13, got his feet, flipped him in the air as Payton tried to go over the top of him.
First down at the Oregon 37. Here's Brett Hundley. Drops it off Perkins. Cuts it inside. Great running. Now breaks outside and gets out of bounds.
Terrific job by Perkins, fooling Rodney Hardrick, number 48, in the open field, and then getting out of bounds and stopping the clock. Excellent understanding of situational football by Paul Perkins.
First down at the 25. Brett Hundley looks into the corner and caught. Payton, touchdown Bruins. 42-30.
Top of your screen, Payton 9 working against Cisse, number 12, and Cisse has his back to the ball, never sees it thrown. And what he's got to do is try and read the eyes of Payton and come up through his hands. He turned his head at the last second. It's too late. Payton, with the strong hands, hauls it down.
So UCLA going for 2 again. 3 touchdowns in a minute and a half for UCLA. And Hundley runs it and goes down. Well played by, guess who, Tony Washington. 2:47 to go. Oregon with a 42-30 lead. Welcome back. 2:47 to go. UCLA scoring again, so an onside kick on the way.
And this is not one that if Oregon doesn't get, they can laugh it off as they did the last one. If there's a sky kick, you fair catch it if you're Oregon. But it won't be a sky kick, I don't believe. I think they'll try and get the high hopper and try and get the football. But Oregon has to have the ball here, all momentum in the hands of UCLA right now.
There's Fairbairn. Ball bouncing around and finally claimed by the Ducks. Royce Freeman on the hands team. Let's quickly go to the studio for a game break.
All right, guys, in South Bend, number 6 Notre Dame trailing North Carolina fourth quarter until Everett Golson finds Tarian Folston from 9 yards out. The Irish went for 2 and made it. They lead 43-36 in the fourth. Gus, Charles, back to you.
Charles, what makes this Everett Golson such a great college player?
Well, he was a good player before. Remember, he was undefeated except for the national championship game as a quarterback. But I think the year away from school, unfortunate for why he was away, but boy, did he work on his skills.
Royce Freeman. And Freeman gets to the 44 before being tackled by Jefferson. So let's take a look at our FS1 play of the game.
Look at this. Little hoops on the dribble. Fortunate bounce. Right back to the man himself. Fox Sports Live. That play could be the one.
And that was the one brought to you by Fox Sports Live. Every score, every highlight, every night. Only on Fox Sports 1. Marcus Mariota throwing for 210 yards. Second down and 1 now. Freeman, first down. And more. UCLA unable to stop the clock. Out of timeouts.
But this is what's discouraging for them as we look at the numbers for today. The 3 things you need to know, we said Mariota, would he move around more? He did. 4 total touchdowns. Would they run to protect him? They got over 100 yards this game with Royce Freeman. And it was all about the ball for them. Ikpreolumu had the interception for one of the takeaways.
Victory formation for the Oregon Ducks. As Mariota takes the knee. So for Oregon, up next, Washington at home. Then they're at Cal, and then they have Stanford at home on November 1st. For UCLA, as you take a look at the remaining schedule for Oregon.
Remember at Utah, Utah came in here and beat UCLA last Saturday.
Mark Helfrich has to breathe a little easier after that disappointing loss to Arizona. What do you think about Arizona?
That's a heck of a football team. Is still probably not getting the credit they deserve. Beat USC tonight. And then we're talking about if Oregon can win out, they get one more shot at Arizona in the Pac-12 championship game. They've lost to them the last 2 seasons.
As we take a look at what UCLA has remaining. At Cal, at Colorado. And Arizona. Freeman, 18 carries, 121 yards and 2 touchdowns. Marcus Mariota, 2 rushing touchdowns and 2 passing touchdowns. And the Oregon Ducks come into Pasadena and defeat the Bruins 42-30.
A little bit of cosmetics with the final score. Oregon gave up some late touchdowns. At one point, what was it, 42-10?
Seems like they relaxed a little.
I think that they did and tried, just to not give up huge chunk plays, and UCLA kept battling and put the ball in the end zone a few times.
Only the second time in 10 years UCLA with over 500 yards of total offense in a loss.
And Oregon's still alive, not just for a Pac-12 title, but in that discussion for the playoff 4.
And our Molly McGrath is standing by with a very happy coach, Helfrich.
Thanks, guys. Coach, the sky was falling all week after that loss to Arizona. What kind of statement did this win make today?
There's no statement. You know, I think the only statement our guys made is they are tough dudes, man. A bunch of guys grew up there. We actually used Molly. A lot of people don't know this. Molly played a little corner for us at the end of the game. We had all hands on deck. It was just a great team effort. And, you know, again, credit to UCLA. They came back and made it interesting there at the end. But just a gutty win by our guys.
Jake Fisher returned to help solidify your offensive line. You had your first 100-plus yard rusher all season. How do you rate their performance, your O-line?
Well, we'll rate it, you know, after we watch the film. But again, a bunch of guys that were challenged and questioned, and they're a proud group of guys, as is UCLA's defense, and they you know, it was a good battle.
Coach, looking forward, what does this win do for your team and your goals looking at the playoff?
It's the next one. You know, you look around the college football landscape, and it just matters to survive and advance, almost to a certain extent. And our guys battled back, and very, very proud of their mindset all week.
Thanks, Coach. Congrats.
Thanks, Molly.
All right, Molly, well, the final score from the Rose Bowl here in Pasadena, Oregon defeats UCLA 42-30. For Charles Davis and Molly McGrath, I'm Gus Johnson saying thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned for Rob Stone in the studio coming up after this break.